So I'm going to do certain sums such as example 26 in Aurora page number 3.18, okay, where a ball is thrown from the top of the tower. A ball is thrown vertically upwards. Normally, when you release a ball like this, the initial velocity will be 0. When you release a ball from the top, the initial velocity is always 0. But this is not the question where we are releasing a ball. Please understand that you are throwing it up, which means you have to give an initial velocity u, and they have given this initial velocity to be 19.6 meter per second. All you know is when it reaches the top, velocity will become 0. This is your u, this is your v, and so that this will drop down to the floor. This is how it is going to happen. So this is the tower order height, and which is what they are asking. They are asking you to find height of the tower. You know, this is I'm going to tell you certain points which is not relevant to this question, but generally you should know all this. You should know the time of ascent is equal to time of descent. For the same level, you can't say that the time of ascent is equal to time of descent. No, it's only for that particular height. Time of ascent is always the same. So what I'm thinking of doing is take this. I know u, I know v, so I can find the time. V is equal to u plus 8. See, a lot of people, this basics you have to understand. When some ball is rolling on the ground, the acceleration is not acceleration due to gravity, or a car is going horizontally. This is not gravity, but when something is falling down or thrown up, what acceleration is acceleration due to gravity, which is 9.8 meter per second square. A lot of people will think, where a car moving, will you have acceleration due to gravity? How is it? A horizontal motion, the acceleration is different. Vertical motion only, acceleration due to gravity will come. This is common sense. Okay, so that basics you should understand. And this is obviously gravity, acceleration due to gravity. V is equal to u plus 80. V itself is 0. U itself is 19.6. Gravity is minus 9.8 into t. Why 9.8? When a ball is thrown up, the gravity is acting down. Therefore, if I'm taking u to be positive, therefore gravity has to be taken as negative. Whenever the ball is going up, the gravity should be taken as negative. So with this, I can find time to be 2 seconds. In 1 minute, I got the answer. That's the time of ascent. Similarly, there's a time of descent also, which is 2 seconds. The total time taken for it to reach from here is 4 seconds. However, that's not the question. So I'm doing an undo. That's not the question they're asking. Where is it? Hope it's recording. Yeah. So I'm going to do undo for all this, because that's not what the question is. The question is something else. What is the question? Is to find the height of the tower. So let's remove all this. You can straight away use the formula S is equal to ut plus half at square, where S is the displacement. Not distance. S is equal to ut plus, because change in position. If you remember, it's x minus x naught in the derivation that I taught you also yesterday. Just change in position. S is equal to ut plus half a t square, where S will be the displacement, which will be the height of the tower. You know is the initial velocity given, which is 19.6. Time, if you know the total time, have they given the total time? They've given that the time taken totally is 6 seconds for it to go up and come down to the ground. So it's 6 minus half, because gravity is 9.8 to negative. T square is 6 square, which is 36. When you cancel this, you get 18. And you know that this is 19.6 into total time 6. Minus this is 9.8 into 2 is 19.6 again into 9. Can you imagine? This is definitely greater than this, and so the height you're getting it is negative. How will the height be negative? Height will not be negative, but the displacement can be negative. Correct? So you get this answer. I'm copying this answer. This answer that I'm getting is minus 58.8 meters, and always the displacement is a change in position. The ball was here, it's now come here. The displacement is happening in downward direction, and no wonder you're getting the displacement answer in negative, because upward motion of the ball causing eventually a downward displacement. So this has to be negative. However, height cannot be negative, so magnitude of height is 58.8 meters. That completes the first question. This is the first question. I'll read the question for you, which is example 26 again in the recording. A ball thrown vertically upward with a speed of 19.6 meter per second. The top of the tower returns to the ground in 6 seconds. Find the height of the tower. Done. So let's go to next question. Example 27. A ball is thrown vertically upward with a velocity of 20 meter per second, or seems like the same sum, from the top of the multi-storied building. The height of the point from where the ball is thrown is 25 meter, which means this is being given. And it's getting thrown upward, and so it eventually falls down. It is given a velocity of 20 meter per second. The initial velocity is 20 meter per Second, you know the final velocity is 0. If they ask you time of ascent, you can calculate. But the question is, how high will the ball rise? This distance. You can use the formula v square minus u square is equal to 2as. V is 0. U is 20 the whole square is equal to minus 2 into 9.8 into s, which will be the distance through which it can rise. So you can minus and minus get cancelled. The 400 is equal to 8 2s 60, 9 2s 18, 19.6 s. S is equal to 400 by 19.6. If it was 20, it would have been 20. That would have been easy. That's what they have done in this sum. They have approximated 9.8 to 10 meter per second square acceleration. So this is 20. So the answer will be just 20 meters. So this height above is 20 meter. The height of the building is 25. So how much has it totally risen from the ground? It will be 45. Depending on the question, you should read the question carefully and then find out. So this is okay. How high did the ball rise? They didn't say whether it's from the ground or from the top of the building, but I am answering both. I am saying 20 meters from the building, top of the building, and 45 meters from the ground. How long will it take for it to hit the ground? Then displacement. S is equal to ut plus S is equal to ut plus half at square, where you know initial velocity is 20 into time taken. Do you know the time of full flight? Has it been given the time of full journey? It's not been given. Okay, then what you can do is, that's what they're asking. T minus half into 9.8 into t square. T is what you should know. Here is where the children will make a mistake. This sum will come for every exam. That is this displacement S is nothing but 25. You should not write 25, you should write minus 25. That is the key. That is the key. Okay, that's where you will miss. I have missed it empty number of times. So make sure, because I taught you ball is up, displacement is having downward direction, so minus 25. So then therefore you can just take everything. This can be cancelled. This is 4 2s are 8, 9 2s 4.9. So bring it, that's it, 4.9 into t square minus 20t minus 25 is equal to 0. We can multiply this entire equation with, I think they would take again this as 10. So that if you take it as 10, it will just be 5. Then it becomes easier. You can cancel the entire equation. T square minus 4t minus 5 is equal to 0. 5 ones are 5. You know how to factorize. So then therefore t square minus 5t plus 1t minus 5 is equal to 0. T into t minus 5 plus 1 into t minus 5 is equal to 0. Therefore, t is equal to minus 1, t is equal to 5. It's not possible for time to be negative. The total time taken therefore is 5 seconds. Next, trace the trajectory. You have to trace this path. Okay. The trajectory, a ball is going up and then coming down. A ball is going up, but the velocity is becoming 0 and then it's coming down. Trace the trajectory of the ball with a vertical line. With the vertical line, some question, I don't understand this question. Trace the trajectory means you have to trace the path. Trajectory of the ball with trajectory of the ball will be a vertical line. Vertical line, okay, let's see. And I don't know, seriously, I don't know what the sum is. Let's check it out. Okay, you know this initial velocity, ball is going up. Generally in a graph, you know the ball that's going up will be a graph that's coming down. Why? Because this is velocity time graph, and you know velocity will get to 0. The velocity can become 0 only on the topmost point. So this should be in practical life, this is the bottommost point, this is the topmost point, and this shows that the velocity is going on. When I'm throwing the ball, the velocity will decrease because the topmost point, the velocity gets to 0. Ascending ball, the velocity is always decreasing. Isn't this decreasing? It's coming down like this. This means decreasing, this means increasing. இறங்கு முகம், இது பேர் ஏறு முகம். மலை ஏறுறது, மலை இறங்குறது. அந்த மாதிரி you can imagine. இது பார்த்தாலே இது இறங்கு முகம். So velocity is decreasing. So I've drawn this, and this is for the upward movement of the ball. This represents upward movement of the ball. Then the velocity gets to 0, and then the ball is starting to come in the reverse direction, which means velocity gets to 0 and the ball is going to come in the reverse direction, where the velocity is going on increasing in the negative direction. This is how the trajectory is. If they ask me to trace this trajectory, this is the only way in which I can draw. He has written y is equal to ut plus half gt square, it seems. The trajectory of the ball where x is equal to 0 and y is not equal to, I don't know what the hell he has written. This is the graph, this is the trajectory. For me, when they ask you to trace a trajectory, it means they are asking you to draw a graph. For me, this is the answer. Aurora hasn't done well. So you understand how I have drawn, this is the graph. Okay, let's go to next question. Example 28. Okay, a ball is thrown up, is caught by the thrower after 4 seconds. So ball is getting thrown up and is caught by him in 4 seconds. So ascending is 2 seconds, descending is, time of ascent is equal to time of descent. You know the velocity gets to 0 on the topmost point. How high will it go and with what velocity must it be thrown? Use what? You know the time. Can I do v is equal to u plus at? V is equal to u plus at and find u. The ball, let's take the upward journey. So the gravity can be taken negative and the velocity u can be taken positive. But I don't know u. It's minus 9.8 into time is 2 seconds because I am only considering upward journey which is only 2 seconds. The final velocity there is 0. Therefore, I can say u is 8 to 69 to 80, 19.6 meter per second is the initial velocity with which it's throwing. Done. First part of the question answered. Second part of the question, how far was it below the highest point 3 seconds after it was thrown? You know that it has taken 2 seconds for it to go up. It's going to come down. And the question is, 3 seconds after it was thrown up means it's taken 2 plus, this is going to take 1 second. This point, how far was it below the highest point? This distance. You know the velocity here is 0. And time taken is 1 second. And you can find this using the formula. This velocity here will become your initial velocity because you're considering the descending journey in which this is your initial velocity. You know the time, you can find the final velocity. V is equal to u plus at. In this, u is 0. But the gravity is positive because ball is also coming down. And the gravity is also 9.8 into time is 1 second. So you know the final velocity here is 9.8 meter per second. You know the initial velocity, you know the final velocity. You can use the formula v square minus u square is equal to as. Where v square is 9.8 the whole square. U square is 0 square is equal to 2 into positive only because ball is coming down, gravity is acting downward. 2 into 9.8 into s. So this s you can calculate is s is equal to 9.8 into 9.8 by 2 into 9.8. You don't need to sit and calculate, make it easier. So 4 2s are 8, 9 2s are 18. Distance is 4.9 meters. Yes, approximated gravity always is 10, but I wouldn't want to do that in every sum unless they tell you to do it. Okay, let's go to next question. So that completes the highest. How far was it from the highest point? From the ground means, no, that's all the question. Let me not complicate it too much. Let's go to next question. 29th question. A balloon is ascending. It's like a hydrogen balloon where when a flood comes, people will drop the bread and all people studying the terrace will receive when they eat. So then that will be a hydrogen balloon, will go like that. But here it's rising up. The hydrogen balloon, it's not going horizontally, it's rising up. So the hydrogen balloon, let me draw. Hydrogen people are here, they're going to put a hydrogen balloon is going on ascending at the rate of 9.8 meter per second. So this is your velocity at which it's rising. At a height of 39.2 meters, suddenly they're dropping the full foot pocket down. You will think the dropping of the full pocket happens when u is equal to 0. No, not in this sum. Because I am sitting inside the balloon and dropping, I will have the initial velocity as the balloon. But the initial velocity is acting upward. But fraction of a second is going to just fall because of the gravity. But I know the initial velocity is definitely upward. So gravity has to be taken as negative. So then after how much time and with what velocity does it hit the ground? For the how much time? The height is given. So we can use the formula S is equal to ut plus half at square because how can you use the formula? What time is the question? At how much time? S itself is 39.2. Initial velocity is upward. I am taking it as positive. Gravity, therefore, I have to take it as negative 9.8 into t square. Push it to the other side. Form a quadratic equation. This will be 4 2s are 8, 9 2s are 18. Take it to the other side. 4.9 t square minus 98.2 t plus 39.2 is equal to 0. Can I cancel this entire thing with the 10 tables? Multiply 49 t square minus 98 t plus 392 is equal to 0. Can we cancel the entire thing with the 49 itself? Okay, 49, this is 2 and the sum shift 49 into 9 8 is 72. 8 4 32, 392. So then therefore this will be with the 8 table. So t square minus 2t plus 8 is equal to 0. What will 4 2s are 8 will get you that. T square minus 4t plus 2t plus 8 is equal to 0. Huh? Something is wrong. Am I writing correctly? 49 8s are t square minus 2t plus 8
is 392, so this will be 6.
T square minus 2t plus 8 is equal to 0. Perfect. This till here is correct only. So when you factorize this, you will get t minus 4 and a t plus 2. And t is equal to 4 will be the right answer because it cannot be negative. Once you get the time, that will be the time it takes. And time cannot be negative obviously. It's a scalar. So that's the time it takes for it to fall down. Then they're asking velocity with which wood pocket reaches the ground. Final velocity. Initial velocity is not 0, by the way, correct? And v is equal to u plus gt. Let's take the downward journey. Initial velocity is 9.8. Gravity should be taken as minus 9.8 into t. The final velocity for time taken for it to fall is 4 seconds. So what happens is 9.8 minus, you get a bigger value. You get a negative bigger value, minus 29.4 meter per second. It's okay. Velocity can be negative because it's directed downward. It makes sense. Initial velocity is upward. The final velocity is downward. That's why it's negative sign. Let's go to 30th question. 30th question. A food pocket is released from a helicopter which is rising steadily. Again, similar to the previous sum. From a helicopter which is rising steadily at 2 meter per second. So initial velocity is upward. Eventually, not even a fraction of a second is going to fall down. After 2 seconds, what will be the velocity of the packet? After 2 seconds, t is equal to 2 seconds. What is the velocity? Initial velocity is given. We can do v is equal to u plus at. v is equal to u is 2 meter per second. Gravity is acting downward, g, which is 9.8 into t. t is 2 seconds. So v is equal to 2 minus 8 2 is 16, 9 2 is 18, 19.6.
I want to be plus because it is acting.
No, but initially the helicopter is going
upward.
up.
Okay.
When I am taking u to be positive, the gravity has to be negative. Hydrogen balloon going up, helicopter going up. Everywhere you know that u is taken as positive, so gravity has to be taken as negative. So therefore you get minus 17.6 meter per second. Look at the absolute clarity. So velocity can be negative. It's coming down, therefore it's negative. We understood it. So next என்ன கேட்குறாங்கன்னா, how far is it below the helicopter? Distance கேட்குறாங்க. The 2 minutesல எந்த distance போயிருக்கு? So s is equal to u தெரியும், v தெரியும்னா v square minus u square is equal to as போடுறதுனா easy. Velocity வந்து final velocity 17.63 whole square negative போயிடும். Initial velocity is 2 meter per second square which is 4 is equal to minus 2 into gravity is 9.8 into s கண்டுபிடிச்சிடும். Juggle பண்ணி find the answer. The sum is there in Aurora. So then next is how far is it below the helicopter? That distance we found it. So let's go to next question. 31st question. It's a parachute. So a parachute after bailing out falls 50 meters without friction. Actually parachute எப்படி குதிப்பான்னு ஃபர்ஸ்ட் சொல்லி தரேன். ஆர்மியிலலாம் எப்படி பண்ணுவோம்னா முதல்ல பேராசூட்லேருந்து இது எங்கள் பெல்ட் போட்டுருப்பா, அது ஓப்பன்லாம் ஆகாது, அப்படியே தான் குதிப்பா. அப்படி இருக்குன்னு நினச்சிப்பா, சும்மா குதிப்பா. ஃபுல்லும் கிராவிட்டி ஃப்ரீ ஃபால்னால அப்படியே ஸ்வைங்கின்னு 9.8 மீட்டர் per செகண்ட் ஸ்கொயரில் வந்து கீழே ஆக்சிலேட் ஆகிட்டு வரும். அப்போ என்ன வெலாசிட்டியில் வருவோம்னு பாரு, பயங்கரமான வெலாசிட்டியில் கீழே வரும், பயங்கரமாக இருக்கும். ஓகே, கான்ஸ்டன்ட் ஆக்சிலரேஷன் அப்படி வரும். அப்போ வெலாசிட்டி இஸ் கோயிங் ஆன் ரைசிங், தெரியும்ல இப்படி இருக்கும், ஏன்னா கான்ஸ்டன்ட் ஆக்சிலரேஷன் தான் இதான் அர்த்தம். அப்படி வருவாங்க அந்த ஆர்மி ஆஃபீஸர்ஸ். அதுக்கப்புறம் ட்ரைனிங் வேணும். அது ஒரு பாயிண்ட் வந்த அப்புறம் என்ன ஆகும்னா, இங்கெல்லாம் வந்து நிறையா ஏர் இருக்காது, அப்பர் அட்மாஸ்ஃபியரில் உனக்கு இருக்காது. அதுக்கப்புறம் தான் ஏர் ரெசிஸ்டன்ஸ் வரும். இந்த இடத்துல வந்தோடனே ஏர் ரெசிஸ்டன்ஸ் வர ஆரம்பிச்சோடனே இங்கே ரெசிஸ்ட் பண்ணும், உன்னோட ஸ்பீடு கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சமாக கம்மியாகும், விச் இஸ் குட் ஒன்லி. ஆனால் அப்போ தான் அந்த பேராசூட்டே ஓப்பன் ஆகும். ஏர் ரெசிஸ்டன்ஸை வச்சு தான் அந்த பேராசூட்டே அப்படியே ப்ரெஸ் பண்ணி அப்படியே ஓப்பன் பண்ணிவிடும். ஓப்பன் ஆன உடனே நீ பேராசூட்டில் வர ஆரம்பிப்ப. அப்போ வந்து அவன் கொடுத்துட்டான் acceleration, the speed is 3 meter per second. He reaches the ground with the speed of 3 meter per second. கீழே வரும்போது he decelerates. Obviously speed decrease. 9.8லேயே வந்தால் 30 விழுவான், ஹார்ட் அட்டாக்கே வந்துடும். விழும்போதெல்லாம் அந்த ஸ்பீடில் வரக்கூடாது. ஸோ ஆக்சிலரேஷன் டீசலரேட் ஆகிடுறான் 2 meter per second square, which is minus போடணும், ஏன்னா டீசலரேட். பிரேக் போடுறதுனா ஆக்சிலரேஷன் இஸ் நெகட்டிவ். It's no more called deceleration. It's no more called acceleration. It's called deceleration. Sorry, it's negative. இதில் போய் 9.8 போடக்கூடாது, ஏன்னா இதில் அவன் கொடுத்த வேல்யூ தான் போடணும். முதல்ல இங்கே வா, மேலேருந்து ஜம்ப் பண்ணுறான்ல, அப்போ இனிஷியல் வெலாசிட்டி 0. இந்த ஃபைனல் வெலாசிட்டி என்ன? இந்த ஜேர்னி ஃபஸ்ட்டு முடிக்கலாம். இங்கே ஆக்சிலரேஷன் 9.8 தெரியும். இந்த மாதிரி 50 meters அவன் வரதா கொடுத்துருக்கான். கொஷனில் படிக்கிறேன் கேளு. A parachute after bailing out falls 50 meters. வெளியில் வந்தோடனே falls 50 meters without friction. Without friction air resistance இல்லாமல். Which when parachute opens, it starts decelerating with 2 meters per second square. He reaches the ground with a speed of 3 meters per second. At what height did he bail out? இந்த height கேட்குறான். முதல்ல இங்கே வந்துரு. இதில் வந்து இந்த ஃபைனல் வெலாசிட்டி கண்டுபிடிச்சிடும். V is equal to U plus 80. U வந்து 0. மனுஷனும் அப்படி தான் வரான், கிராவிட்டி அதே டைரெக்ஷன். ஸோ V என்னங்கிறது 9.8 இன்ட்டு டைம் கொடுத்துருக்கானா? டைம் கொடுக்கல, மீட்டர்ஸ் கொடுத்துருக்கான். இந்த ஃபார்முலா யூஸ் பண்ணக்கூடாது. We should have used the formula. Gravity 9.8 தெரியுமே. V தானே வேணும். V is equal to டைம் தெரியலையா? டைம் தெரியல கண்ணா. சரி சரி. ஸோ V square minus U square is equal to 2AS. U square is 0. V square கண்டுபிடிக்க போகிறோம். Gravity is positive. S is 50. Just multiply. Get the answer. Root கண்டுபிடிச்சிடும். Okay, this is இது 10ன்னு வச்சுட்டோன்னா 500 and 1000 ஆகிடுங்க. Root of 1000 is 10 root 10. Velocity meter per second. This is your final velocity here, which will be your initial velocity for this journey. So the final velocity on the top journey becomes the initial velocity of this journey. You know the initial velocity, you know the final velocity. You can find the distance again using the formula V square minus U square is equal to 2AS, where A is not G anymore, it is this and it has to be negative. So what is V square is 9 minus what is U square? 10 root 2 the whole square is equal to 2 into 10 into S. Just juggle it around and get the value of S, and that will give you this distance. And this distance is already 50. This distance you found plus at that shows that when it has got bailed out from the helicopter. So helicopter இந்த parachute குதிக்கும் போது முதல்ல ஓப்பன் ஆகாது. After traveling only a certain distance of 50 meters, because of the friction, it starts opening. அப்போ இந்த ஜேர்னி தனியாக அந்த ஜேர்னியை தனியாக வச்சுக்கணும் அப்படின்னு வச்சு நீ பண்ண முடியும் சொன்னாங்க. So let's go to next question. Time's not.
No.
32nd question. 32nd question. A ball is thrown vertically upwards with a speed of a ball 25 meter per second from the ground. Another ball B is thrown vertically downward. Thrown vertically downward, giving velocity. Normally velocity from upward is always 0, but they can also push it down like that. It is possible to not have initial velocity to be 0 even for a falling down. We have to see that. Another ball B is thrown vertically downward from a height of 50 meters with the same speed, which means forcefully throwing. This initial velocity is also 25 meters per second, but this is downward, this is upward. Another ball B is thrown vertically downward from a height of 50 meters. So the total height is 50 meters. At some point, both the balls is going to collide. They both are going to collide. Correct? Let's consider that this distance is x. This distance is x. So this distance will be 50 minus x at which they both are colliding. We can't say equal distance because it depends on the velocity. Okay. The ball thrown up will only decelerate also. No? That will accelerate. So this is x and this is 50 minus x. And you can find what is this. You know when it's colliding, so you know the initial velocity, you know, so you can use S is equal to ut plus half it square. Ball thrown up, gravity has to be negative. 9.8 into t square. First equation. Let's go to this equation. 50 minus x is your displacement is equal to ut. This is equal to ut. U is again 25. How can you take here also 25 and there also 25? The direction is differing. There it's down.
Minus.
Okay, it doesn't matter. I can still take this also as 25, but the only gravity's direction I should interchange. Okay, this falling down, so 25 ut plus half 9.8 into t square. So these are the two equations. You know what is x from here, you can substitute it here and solve it like an equal. For a minute I got confused. I thought that u is negative and this u has to be taken as positive. No.
Won't this come in terms of t?
Yeah, so you get t and t, everything will t, you group them and get the value of t, you get a time. Time turns out to be 1 second. The solution for this will turn out to be 1 second, that's all. Thus you find the time at which both of them are colliding. And then like a linear equation, you can substitute t in one of the equation, get the value of x, and 50 minus x is very simple. Are you clear? So this is that sum. So let's discuss rest of the sums later, but these are the sums which I have not recorded and given you a video. Now I'm giving it to you.